Good morning, everybody. I'm Bella Lackwood, Village Agent for Mendip West. And this morning we are joined by Somerset Waste Partnership to discuss some upcoming changes to our recycling and refuse collection. So we've got Mickey Green, the Managing Director of Somerset Waste Partnership, and Mark and Nick, who also work for Somerset Waste Partnership. They're going to go through some things, and any questions that we might have, please post them in the comments box and we can ask as we're going along. Over to you, Mickey.
Thank you very much, Bella. So yeah, as you say, going to run through some slides quickly, then really looking forward to answering any questions. So to set a bit of context before we kind of talk about the changes coming up, I thought it'd be good to describe a bit about the Waste Partnership. So we collect from around 260,000 homes in Somerset, most of Somerset's schools, and that means we do just over 20 million collections a year. What we're really proud of is that 90% of our recycling stays in the UK and just over half of it stays in Somerset. We want to continue with that and improve upon it as we change services. We're proud again of our recycling rate at about 53%, so that's pretty good for the country. Where we do really well is in terms of carbon savings. So we're the 7th best in the country, and that's thanks to everybody in Somerset separating their recycling at the curbside, which means we can recycle it properly and nearly all in the UK. But we want to do better, we want to improve, and the key driver for that is that when we look at what's in bins on average, and it won't be reflective of any individual's bins, we see that around half of the contents of that bin could have been recycled. So hopefully some of you have already heard about Recycle More. So that's the expanded recycling service that we're going to start introducing, coming to Mendip at the end of October. It's about reducing waste, helping protect the environment, and saving taxpayers' money. So when we introduce that, and I'll explain that in more detail in a minute, it's about collecting more from the curbside, particularly the plastic pots, tubs and trays that I know people are desperate to recycle. So more recycling obviously means less rubbish. So the flip side of that is when we start recycling more at the curbside, your rubbish bin will be collected every 3 weeks and every 2 weeks. There will be some things you'll need to do differently. So collection days will change for some household. We'll be asking you to put different things into different boxes, and we'll give you a new recycling container, a bright blue bag. And I'll talk about all of that in more detail, and also the support that we'll have in place over the next few months, the extra support in addition to the normal support we have to help everybody to cope. We will be improving services for schools and people who live in a communal property, for example, a block of flats, but that will come afterwards in next year. So as I said before, Recycle More, it's really about the fact that we've got to get more of the recycling that's currently in our black bins to be recycled. So we hope that Recycle More will increase our recycling rate to 60% and reduce rubbish by 15%. We think that will save the county around 2 million a year. So that's savings that we shared between the district councils and the county council. But it's the environmental impact that we're really keen to see. It's also worth saying that what does go in your bin will now go to generate energy from waste rather than go to landfill. So the extra recycling we'll be collecting each week will be everything you can do recycle at the moment. We'll be adding in plastic pots, tubs and trays. I think Mark's got some examples he can wave around later of the kind of things we'll be accepting. Food and drink cartons, so Tetra Packs, so that's often things like some milks come in those, orange juices, soups, those kind of things. And we'll also be accepting small household batteries and small electrical items. To hold all of that extra recycling, you'll get a bright blue bag, and that's where all the plastics and metals will go. It's got a weighted base, so it shouldn't fly away. It's reusable, so you'll keep hold of it, and it's got a Velcro fastening over the top. So at the same time as we do that, as I said before, the rubbish collection will move to every 3 weeks. We trialled that successfully in Somerset 6 years ago, and now 16 other authorities around the country have moved to 3 weekly collections, and 2 have even moved to 4 weekly collections. So there's a lot of learning we've got from that. The collection routes will change, and that does mean some different collection days for around a third of households. I'll come back to how we'll write to everybody to let them know of any changes, but it's things like Frome that we currently collect on 2 days we'll do on 1 day. Wells and Shepton Mallet will be done on the same day, and rural areas will be done on a single day rather than across the week. Those new collection routes will mean our vehicles are driving less miles. So again, it's further carbon savings there. So one of the key changes when we introduce Recycle More is that we'll ask you to put different things in different places. So everybody will get a leaflet explaining that. You'll also get a sticker on your existing recycling boxes, so you've got that really visual reminder. In the black box, we'll be asking you to put your paper and cardboard. We'll be asking you to keep those as separate as possible because the crews will still be putting them in different compartments on the vehicle so we can recycle them properly. In the green blocks, that'll still be your glass, but that's where we'll be asking you to put your cartons. The reason we ask you to put your cartons is that they're a laminate of different materials. So their cartons are made up of plastic, metal and cardboard, and therefore we need to keep them away from the cardboard so that they can be recycled properly, as they obviously go through a different process. You will be able to leave lids on glass jars. So again, that's another improvement. Blue bag, as I said before, is everything plastic and metal. So all the plastic bottles you already recycle, and the plastic pots, tubs and trays, cans, aerosols. Food waste, no changes, still in your brown bag, and we'll be asking you to put small batteries and small electrical items in bags alongside. The crews will return those bags because I know many of you will be seeking to cut down on your use of single-use plastics. What we want to obviously ensure we do is keep them separate so we don't contaminate the other recycling and keep them as dry as possible. That helps us recycle properly and recycle as much as possible in the UK. So as I said, it will come to Mendip at the end of October. Just out of interest, we'll then roll round the rest of the county, concluding in early February 2022. The reason we need to do that in stages, obviously Somerset is a large county, but secondly, because we need to carry on doing the day job. So we've got to upgrade all of our depots to cope with all that extra recycling, those new materials. We can't do that all at once. And also because we want to make sure that we focus our support in each area to help you manage that change. The key reminder is you don't need to do anything different now. Wait till you receive your bright blue bag. So 3 weeks before things change, every household will get sent a leaflet which include their own collection day calendar. That will make really clear when recycling and when rubbish collections will happen for the next 12 months. Some people will have an interim collection as they move from a 2-weekly cycle to a 3-weekly cycle, and we'll make that really clear to people. Whilst it's not for everybody, we do encourage more people to do online, and about half of our transactions are online now. You can download things like a collection day calendar if you go online, so that can link to your if you keep a calendar on your computer, on your mobile phone, and it just makes it easier for you to report issues and to ask about extra capacity or to contact us if you've got any worries. We are here to help. We believe it will work. Our experience and the experience of everywhere else is that it'll work, but obviously we know change is difficult for people. So there'll be lots of information on the website. Mendip District Council customer services have been briefed. We'll have some extra staff supporting our customer services and out on the ground to help people. So that will do things like if we've changed the collection day, we'll have staff that go round and see if people are still putting their bins out on the old collection day, and we'll engage with them to support them. And obviously we're doing lots online like this kind of session. We know that some people will be worried about whether they can cope, whether they've got enough space. That might be larger families, it might be families with children in nappies, or it might be those that have some kind of medical waste, adult hygiene products. So we'd encourage people, if they are concerned, to either give Mendip District Council customer services a ring, or go online to the Somerset Waste Partnership website, and there we'll seek to help. So we've developed a new form for that, and the crucial reason for that is to make sure that we can prioritize ones which are quick to solve. Like if somebody's got lots of medical waste, we obviously want to get that household the right support as quickly as possible. Others might need a bit more engagement. We'll obviously be encouraging everybody to give the new service a go. We have provided some funding for nappy loan groups, so they've got more nappy loan kits. Obviously we don't expect that to be for everybody, but for those people that want to give it a go, we want to make it easier for them. So we have had to change our approach to how we're engaging with people because of COVID-19. So everybody in Mendip will get 2 leaflets. Next week, you'll also see information in your Somerset, and you can sign up for our Recycle More Messenger. Doing lots of online engagement, lots on social media, and lots more people are now following us on Facebook, which is great to see. Getting out to our young people in schools is really important. So we've had a successful Schools Against Waste initiative for the last couple of years where we do free sessions for primary schools. We've developed an interactive virtual one of those, so we'll be offering that to all the 52 primary schools in Mendip. And also there'll be posters and banners available in some of the kind of areas with greater footfall. So what you will see next week is the first of the 2 leaflets. So this will be a generic leaflet, which is about introducing you to Recycle More. So covering some of the things we're talking about today, explaining that recycling will be increased, making sure everybody knows that 3 weekly rubbish collections is coming at the same time, make sure everybody knows when that's happening, what they can do now to prepare, and if they're worried, how to get in touch. The crucial one then comes 3 weeks before, and that's when we tell you your individual collection day calendar. It's where we'll make sure everybody hears what goes where. So that slide I talked through a moment ago in terms of what you put in which box or bag, again, encourages people that are worried to get in touch, and encourages people, if they haven't already got recycling boxes or food waste containers, to get in touch. So just to highlight the kind of key timeline, so things are really, you'll hopefully see the messages from us really ramp up over the next couple of months. That warm-up leaflet arriving next week, another leaflet specific to you and your household arriving in early October. Then 2 weeks before the change, that's when your bright blue bag will be delivered. And then the change starts to happen on 26th of October. And that is it. So I'm hoping, Bella, that we've got some questions.
I can just add Colin into the stream as well. So we'll say hello, Colin, and welcome to the stream. I think his mic is muted though, so let's try unmuting it.
It's successful, hasn't it, so far?
There you go.
There we go.
Finally.
Right. So we haven't got any comments in the box at the moment. So I can see that there's 14 people watching. So anybody that has a comment, please put it in the comment box and we can ask the question now while we're here and get that answered.
Okay, Bella, would it help if I just perhaps show people a bit what the blue bag looks like?
Yeah, that would be good.
So I've got
and
one here.
Maybe what some of the rubbish is that is, the extra rubbish you're taking.
Yeah. So here's a quick sort of look at the bag. So got on here. It's hang on. Looks like that. It's basically 60 litres capacity, which is pretty big when you've got it in your hand. And you can see on the side it tells you exactly what you need to put in there. You can't really tell from here, but it's base weighted. So I know some people were concerned about whether it will blow away or not, but we've seen it in trials that this base weighting really works. It does not blow away. Likewise, I know some people will probably be a little bit concerned about whether some of its contents might get blown out of the top. So to cover that, it is got a really good Velcro fastening around the top. And when you put those all on, it's a really nice tight fit. So that works well. It's a really robust, really robust and tough bag. So it will stand up and it will last a long time. And also when you're not using it, that's not a great example of how to do it, but you can fold it down to a really small size so it can be stored out of the way. In terms of the new products, I mean, most people probably know what we're talking about, but when we talk about plastic pots, tubs and trays, it's things like this. So you might get meat or fruit in, also all the sorts of different colors. So whether it's brown or black, or whether it's a yogurt pot or strawberries, all that sort of stuff. So it's those bits that when you start filling this bag, you'll realize just how much of your rubbish bin space is taken up by materials like this. And the bag is going to take all that plastic, but also your tins and cans, and if you can crush them, great. If not, that's okay. Aluminium foil, so you just need to give it a little rinse and then pop it in there. And then aerosols as well. So used aerosols, you pop them in the bag. They're metal as well. So in the trials, it worked really well. In fact, I think when we trialed it, about 86% of the people who responded when we sent out a survey afterwards that they preferred the service to what they were getting before. So we're comfortable that people, when they get it in their hand and start to use it and give it a go, they'll find it works really well for them.
So is
And
that
Mark,
including the outer wrapping that's sort of plastic as well? So, you know, if you get a punnet of grapes, for instance, it comes in that outer plastic wrapping.
Yeah, no,
Is that included?
no, that's a good question. But sorry, Mickey, did you want to chip in there? Or
no, answer that, Mark. I was just going to comment about some households that might only use one recycling box at the moment. I thought we should mention that, but
yeah,
you go ahead.
yeah. So you can still, if you only need one collection box, then you can still continue to have one collection box. That's right, isn't it? And it's probably worth mentioning that assisted collections as well. If you've got an assisted collection at the moment, that will continue, but it will just be on the different collection day. But coming back to your point, Bella, no, that's what we would call kind of wrapping or film. Unfortunately, that's not something that anyone's in a position to sort of reprocess at the moment. So we'll be asking people to, if you've got your punnet of strawberries, you tear off that outer wrapper as you would naturally. You have to put that in your rubbish, but this tougher container can go into the blue bag.
Okay, great. That's one step forward.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, and and we hear quite a lot from people regularly saying, you've been planning this for a while. When is it coming? We're really keen, and so yeah, we're confident that for most people this is going to work really well. And anyone who has got any concerns, it's really now's a good time to get in touch and speak to our people, and we'll be able to find a solution that works for you.
So in Mendip, that is just getting in contact with Mendip Council and asking the question.
Yeah, we say a first stop if it works for you to have a look on the website. So you've got that website address going along the bottom there. So somersetwaste.gov.uk/recycle-more. We've got more information there. So probably worth having if it suits, have a look and see if you can answer your question there. Otherwise, you can also there's something called a My Waste Services menu on our website, and when you go in there, you'll see there's going to be a recycle more form which will allow you to ask all sorts of questions. You complete that and send it off to us, and we'll get back to you. But if you're not online, if that's not your thing, then you ring the customer services at Mendip District Council, and they've been briefed, and they'll do their best to answer your query. And if they can't answer it, I'll pass it on to someone who can.
Brilliant. Okay, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
So all these older people that are a little bit confused as to what a blue bag is when it arrives.
Yep.
They can ring up Mendip Council and ask them.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully, and by and large, it will hopefully be, by then they will have had the introductory leaflet, which comes next week, which sets the scene really and explains that things are changing and when. And then the really crucial one is 3 weeks before things start, which has got that little diagram which shows you exactly what goes into what container, but also crucially, it will have your collection day calendar. So there will be new collection days for roughly a third of households. So it'll be important that people have a look at that, and maybe we've made it so that you can tear it out, stick it on your fridge, just keep it somewhere where you can just pick it up and remind yourself. And yeah, so hopefully with those two things together, by and large, it'll work pretty smoothly.
So have these collection dates gone out to parish councils and things like that yet? Just thinking on the side of parish council magazines that are still being produced.
Yeah. So the collection dates won't have yet, because it'll be different for each individual postcode. I think there are something like 21 different versions of collection days where we to make sure the routes work better. Trucks are being rerouted, to have to travel less distance. So that's why the collection days are changing. But that information, that 3-week leaflet is the place to find that information. If you've got any concerns about, oh gosh, is my day going to change, and if so, what is it, or is it staying the same? That leaflet 3 weeks before the service starts will be the one to look at.
Okay.
And all that information about revised collection days would then be on our website. The call centre staff will have it. So if people are confused, they can just get in touch or check on the website. It's also important to say, if you've got a garden waste collection, that won't change. And if you've got a clinical waste collection, that won't change either.
Yeah, and we are keeping the parish councils up to date with information. I appreciate they've got an awful lot to think about and to do, but we are sending them regular information about what's changing and when. So your local parish council will hopefully be up to speed, and if you've got any questions, it's worth having a chat to them. But if if they haven't got the answers, then please do get in touch. I think that's one of the important things to say now is we've got about 6 weeks before this starts. So if anyone starts, everyone has got any concerns or questions, then now's a good time to ask them in plenty of well in advance of things changing. Give us a call now rather than the day before it all starts, because then you've got plenty of time to prepare.
Yeah, and some of the boundaries will change. So if you're currently collected at the same time as a street 2 streets down, and you receive different dates, it's not necessarily a mistake. It is because the boundaries will be changing. The optimization of the routes will change. So it's best to follow the guidance on the leaflet. But if you have any concerns, just give us a ring or go on the website to double check the dates. But a number of people will be changing.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's worth underlining that bit about how this is Mendip only at the moment. There'll be people who speak to colleagues and friends who live in over the different district line. So it is only changing in Mendip for now, and I guess it's also worth mentioning there'll be some people who are really keen to see this. But please don't stockpile. If you collect 6 weeks worth of your plastic pots, tubs and trays and put them all out on the first day of collections, I think it will cause a few headaches for the crew. So I know lots of people are really keen, but if you just hold your horses until it starts and then off you go.
Right, okay. Wonderful. So we have now got 17 people watching us.
Okay.
But no comments at the moment. So I don't know if anyone's got anything that they want to add in, and we'll just kind of wait and see if anybody plucks up the courage to ask a question or make
Did you mention garden waste already, Mickey? Sorry, I've lost track.
Yeah, garden waste will remain as it is now. That won't change.
It's roughly a fifth of people in the county have garden waste collections. It's just worth remembering that they'll stay as they are.
Yeah, and likewise, if you've got an assisted collection where you've got an agreed place where the crews get your recycling boxes or your rubbish bin from and return it to, again, that will automatically transfer. So if we know about it already, you don't need to do anything. It will just change over as your collections change.
Yeah.
As will your clinical collections, etc.
Yeah. And I guess it might be worth just underlining, why we're doing all of this is, good recycling at the curbside is a brilliant way of helping, protect the environment, reducing our carbon emissions as a county. And we've got, a really, pretty good record at the moment, but this will help, push it up another level, which is great. And I know, most people are keen to recycle, and this is just all about really making it easier for them to do even more.
And we're also hoping that whilst change is sometimes hard for people and we're asking people to put things in different places, we're hoping that people will find that much easier to remember, much easier to do. And because it's easier, people will hopefully recycle that bit more.
Is it worth actually mentioning containers, actually, Mickey? I think another thing that people can do now is everybody's entitled to have a green box, a black box, a food waste bin, and then they'll get the blue bag. If you've got one that needs replacing, or you maybe feel like you need an extra box, now's a good time to get in touch and request one of those. They're free of charge. You can do it online, or you can do it by giving us a call. But we send them out to you as soon as we can, and they're free of charge. So don't think that, how am I going to cope? I've only got one box. You can request another. That's not a problem.
And using the right boxes is really important, because obviously we want to keep our crews safe, and they're walking a lot of miles picking up a lot of boxes each day. So again, we discourage people from using their own boxes, and please use the ones that, as Mark says, are free to get.
So I'll say hello to John Fraser, who's posted and said hi. And also someone's put, do you have to wash the tins and bottles out?
Yes, generally, this is when we're collecting it and they end up back at the depot, it's to discourage odours for neighbours, also discourage vermin, etc. It's not particularly vital in the reprocessing procedure, but it's mainly to good housekeeping.
It's give them a good rinse, isn't it? You don't have to put them through a dishwasher or anything like that.
No,
just give them a quick shake them through with some water, and that normally does the trick, doesn't it?
Indeed.
And I think Mickey mentioned that bit about bottle tops, which is, I think, one of those little bugbears that people have. And so with the new service, it's you can keep your tops on your plastic bottles, you can keep your metal lids on your wine bottles or jam jars. That all goes into the recycling, and you don't have to worry about taking those off and putting them somewhere else.
So we've got another question. What happens if people don't sort the recycling in their boxes?
Mm-hmm.
It still gets collected, I'm assuming. It just makes life a bit harder.
it does make life a bit harder, and we would encourage people, if they are putting out recycling boxes that aren't sorted, we would encourage them to sort it. We'll slow the crews down. You know, if we take an extra couple of minutes for each collection in Somerset, we're putting another 5 vehicles on the road. So it is important, you know, and a crew and a vehicle costs a considerable amount of money. So just by assisting us, we can help keep the cost down, keep the level of traffic on the road down, keep the number of trucks down. It's all positive. The
And we
better
will
the
let you know.
boxes are recycled.
Yeah, and we will let you know, because often it's not about, not wanting to do it. It's just perhaps not quite understanding it, or, so we will leave tags and say, hey, hang on, this is meant to be there, or, so there's a process by which we'll flag it up and say, hey, don't forget, you should be doing this rather than that, just to let people know.
And one of the things we'll be doing in the leaflets is explaining again why that's really important that people keep their recycling separate, because I think we've got to make sure we tell that story, that actually it's because people do separate it that enables us to do the right thing and keep it in the UK. So that's why we're not just asking for its own sake. It's, it's, as Colin says, it's to make the collections work well, and for the environmental benefit it delivers.
Another question: how can I get a new food waste bin? Mine's been broken. I've already asked for a new one and still haven't received it.
No.
Do you want that one?
Go online. I'm sorry about that. These things mistakes do happen, and we'll try and get back to you. So if you
can request that online, or you can do it over the phone. And if they've already requested one, then apologies if it's not there yet, but it will be on its way.
So they can do that via, just ring up the council, or they can do it via the Somerset Waste website, can they?
Yeah, if you go onto the website homepage, there's a thing called My Waste Services. You'll click on it and it will drop down, and there's all sorts of things you can do. One of which is order a new container. You just go through there and it takes a matter of seconds. And so if you're online, you can do it that way. Or if you prefer to use the phone, then ring up your district council. So Mendip District Council in this case.
So I would assume, as she has already ordered one, if she phoned the council, she could ask where it is.
Yeah, she could say it hasn't arrived. Potentially, with we do over 25 million different individual things a year. So it may have been delivered next door. It may have been delivered to the wrong place. So it's best to chase it up if she hasn't had it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. How long does it normally take, Colin, at the moment between a request and delivery?
At the moment, I think we've got an extended period of delivery. I think it can take up to 20 days. But there's been an issue with some of the productions of some of the containers because
so if it's only been a couple of days, then perhaps hold tight and it will be with you soon.
Yeah, but if it's been a month, it's probably best to tell us again.
Right. Probably best to reorder if it's been a month.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been one of those things, I guess, over COVID with lots of people at home, we've seen a huge increase in the requests for containers. So we have got extra staff out. As Colin says, there have been delays at some of the places that make the containers for us as they had to introduce restrictions to keep their staff safe. So it has been a challenge over the last couple of months, but we're confident we're on top of it. We're bringing in extra staff over the next couple of months to make sure we can get containers out to people quickly.
So, and we're saying if you're filling up say for instance, a black container and you've run out of space in that every week, and so you can then go and order a second black container, and that's free.
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
And you can then put 2 black containers out a week.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, we know that sometimes space can be a bit difficult. So if you're only filling enough to some people, somebody living on their own, for example, might only fill enough recycling to have 1 box per week. So don't feel like you've got to have a green, a black, a blue, 2 boxes in a bag. If you don't fill them every week, you can just have 1.
One thing that's really important to ask people is to not to put any glass into their blue bag, because glass, you can imagine when we collect it, it can really contaminate the other materials, breaks the machines we use to recycle it. So we'd ask the people pay particular attention to making sure they don't put any glass in that blue bag we're giving them.
Right. Okay, so the glass needs to go in one of your boxes that you've been previously putting it in.
That's
Yes.
right. Ideally, the green box, if you're using two boxes like most people are, if you've got very little recycling, then it would just go in whichever box you use. Yeah.
Right. Okie doke. I think, Ellie, you need to reorder again. She said the second time she ordered it was over a month ago. So I think we're going to go with the fact she needs to reorder again for her food
Yes.
recycling. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Obviously, something's gone wrong, and
Yeah.
we're sorry about that, Ellie.
Yeah, and if you've got her contact details, Bella, I don't know if you have, then just share them with us so that we can sort
Yeah,
it
we
out.
can
for
chase
her.
it through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ellie, if you want to send a private message into Talking Cafe with your contact details, we can share those with Somerset Waste Partnership and they can have a look into that for you if that's what you want to do. Alternatively, you can ring up and request another one or do it online. So I think that seems to be all the... Oh, she's pleased with that. She said thank you.
Okay.
There seems to be all the comments that are in at the moment. And we have now done just over our half an hour. So if you don't have anything else to add, then we can probably finish up there.
No, I think that's probably it, isn't it? I think just a reminder to look out for next week. If you live in Mendip, you should be getting that leaflet through your door, which hopefully will answer any questions you've got for the time being. And another one will be coming 3 weeks later with even more detail. And crucially, that calendar, that collection day calendar, because that's something that a lot of people will be wondering. We'll be wondering about, is my collection day changing? If so, when is it going to be? But that is coming. It will be on its way.
And does the blue bag arrive that 3 weeks before with that literature or not?
No, the blue bag will come in the 2 weeks before. So whenever your rubbish collection is in the 2 weeks before the 26th of October, that's when you'll get your blue bag. So leaflet next week, another leaflet 3 weeks before with your calendar, then sometime in the 2 weeks before, depending on when your collection is, that's when you'll get your blue bag and a little tag on your bin in case you've missed the last two leaflets, just to make sure you know what that is and not to throw it away and that it hasn't come to you by accident.
Okie doke. So if you've got any questions, when you're watching watching it back, and it's not live, then feel free to send them in, and we'll send them over to you guys for answering, if that's okay.
That'd be great, yeah.
If there's anything we can't answer ourselves. So anything that comes in, please feel free to send it straight to the Talking Cafe private messenger, or alternatively, write another comment and we'll pick it up and send it over.
Yeah, and we're back in I'm sorry, I've totally forgotten the date, but we're back in a couple of weeks' time, I think. So by then, people have had their leaflets. That might have got people.
I think it's the 14th of October, is it? You're back with us?
It could be, yeah, just before launch. That sounds about right. So when you've had your leaflets, by then they would have had one leaflet and the second leaflet, in fact. So any questions that you might have by then, we'll be here again.
Yeah.
Happy to answer them.
Free to tune in and ask.
Yeah.
Oh, Ellie's just put another one.
Oh.
What was the correct number to call? As last time she tried, the number went straight to answer phone. I don't suppose you know that off the top of your head.
No, but if you give me 2 seconds, I can find it. If you want to.
We're just having a look.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to find it. No. So you want to be ringing the Mendip District Council customer services, which is 0300 303 8588.
Hopefully Hannah will post that into the comments box as well. And then that is the central number for Mendip District Council at the moment. So you'd be able to speak to them, ask them to go through to the refuse collection, I would imagine. And
you just ask for customer services?
Customer services, yeah.
And then
they'll be able to sort it out for you, Ali.
Yep.
Yeah, you are here again on the 14th of October. So any questions between now and then, feel free to join us on the 14th of October and we'll answer them then.
Great.
So I think we're all done. So we'll say bye and we'll catch up with you guys again on the 14th. And Mendip are back for another Talking Cafe next Wednesday. And we'll see you then.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bella.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.